Hi guys, I know it's been absolutely ages since I did a video, but I'm gonna tell you what happened while I was trying to make the video. And I was trying to make a video امبارح وكان المفروض يطلع امبارح بس لكن for some reason my phone decided to delete everything وقرر انه من نفسه كده انه يبطل يعني ما اشتغل. So I didn't do a video امبارح في الويكند ما قدرت اشتغل. And there you go. حسي احنا يوم الاثنين ويا دوبك هسي قاعد اعمل الفيديو. Today guys it's going to all be about business. انه كيف انتم شايفين الانتربرينورشيب والبزنس وورلد والحياة انك اذا عايز تبدا شغل براكة وحسي في الوقت الحالي ده انه ما في شغل والشركات قاعد تقفل وما في دوام وكده انه شنو الحاجات المفروض نتوقعها كبزنس women and businessmen هنا في السودان وكمان in the continent. I've got two friends who are going to be explaining to us a little bit about the business world. MUSA ALNAJI. So we're gonna start off with MUSA ALNAJI. شكرا يا MUSA ALNAJI عشان الفيديوز وشكرا عشان شرحت لنا واخذت يعني اديتنا نبذة عن الحاصل. Thank you so much. So starting off MUSA ALNAJI.
Hello Maya. طيب regarding your first question about إنه quarantine and was it affecting لموضوع البزنس في السودان. أكيد الإمباكت بتاع الكورونا فيروس على البزنس عموما is actually affecting all the sectors of business in the world. So الحاجة كان أثرها بيختلف بناء على الحجم بتاع الشركة سواء كانت small or medium enterprises أو الانتربرينورشيب اللي هم الناس اللي يدوب بدوا شغلهم والأخ من الحاجات. طبعا الإفكت بيعتمد على حسب حجم البزنس وحسب البزنس ذاته هو which sectors تمام اللي هي is actually affecting more about the coronavirus. So yeah بنلقى إنه هي is actually pros and cons. ففي بعض من البزنسز زي السيرفيسز اللي بتقدم للكلاينتس عموما أو غيره من الحاجات بنلقى إنها كانت like an opportunity for them. وبالنسبة للشركات بنلقى شركات كبيرة ممكن تكون وقفت شغلها في إنها هي مثلا بنلقى إنه مثلا زي الفنانين الناس الشغالين في مجالات حساسة أو الحجم بتاع البزنس بتاعهم كبير ماذا actually affected و affected hard لأنه ما كان عندهم الابيليتي في إنهم يشتغلوا أونلاين versus في الفيرس بنلقى إنه هي كانت opportunity للناس الشغالين اللي بيشتغلوا أونلاين كويس وخلت جزء كبير من المجتمع يتعرف على الموضوع ده. فدي الحاجة الكويسة about الكورنتين. يعني مثلا بنلقى إنه زي مثلا عندنا كتير من الأمثلة للناس كانوا شغالين أونلاين زي الأمازون زي غيره الناس اللي أسهمهم زادت حتى التطبيق بتاع زوم فكانت حاجة كويسة بالنسبة لهم. this is the side of إنه how it could الإفكت ده ممكن يكون positive or negative. positive على companies companies know it's actually good for them. Regarding to your second question about إنه هل الحاجات دي أو هل الكوفيد 19 ممكن يكون عنده تأثير في الفيوتشر على البزنس هنا في السودان. أكيد طبعا كويس زي ما قلت لك هي الحاجة بتبقى في إنه أنا how to adapt على النكست ستيج من مرحلة المرض كويس اللي هي المرحلة الجاية هي مرحلة بتاعت شنو معظم البلدان اللي عانت من الأزمات دي عانت بيكون في معاناة من موضوع الريسورسز تمام resources which is نقول عليها it's allocated في السودان كل resources سواء معادن سواء كانت زراعة سواء كانت ثروة حيوانية أو غيره من التفاصيل اللي ممكن تلقاها هنا في السودان وهي دي ممكن تكون opportunity كويسة في إنه we could raise our opportunities في إنه نحن to be a great country once again. So هي الفكرة ببساطة في إنه كيف نحن نقدر نستغل الحاجة دي زي ما قلت لك في ردنا على السؤال الأول. الحاجة ببساطة في إنه هي بتعتمد على السايز بتاع الكمباني بتاعتك سواء أنت كنت entrepreneur سواء كنت أنت middle small enterprises or big enterprises. الفكرة بتاعتك بعد إنك أنت بتشوف الحوجة النيد بتاعت الكوميونتي بتاعك ونيد العالم كله في إنك أنت how to إنك أنت to give them services they actually need سواء كان إنك أنت حتصدر لهم exporting المواد هم محتاجينها أو غيره من التفاصيل اللي هم هيكونوا محتاجينها. So it could be like an opportunity. وأكيد لو أنت كانت عندك مشكلة في البزنس أو أنت you providing a services that إنه most of the people they don't actually need it. So الحاجة ما حتكون عندها value وغالبا أنت حتطلع من السوق لو ما أنت adapt yourself على أساس الوضع اللي حيكون جاي. I'm actually glad about making this interview. Thanks a lot يعني I hope it is being helpful and useful. Thank you.
Thank you so much Musa for the information and thank you for telling us a little bit about what's happening هنا في السودان. حنمشي هسي ليوغندا. My friend in Uganda, Roland, he's also an entrepreneur and he is a businessman. And let's see what he has to say all the way from Uganda. Roland, take it over. He's going to be coming from up here, so Roland.
Hello, my name is ROLAND BYAGABA and I'm an entrepreneur from Uganda. So I run a small IT company called Badidi Tech, and at Badidi Tech we try to help our clients have professional websites, to the domain registration, we do the hosting, website design, and also a bit of social media management, so just to give you a proper online presence. Then also one of our key products is a platform called Muwado. It's an African social network, and the vision behind it basically is to kind of empower African content creators, to show them that there's a lot of value in this content that they are currently uploading on the existing social networks for free. There's value to it. It can be made more serious and it has a potential to earn money for them, so we want to monetize content from the continent. I'm here to tell you about coronavirus in Uganda and how we have dealt with it. I think the best place to start would be 21st March. That's when we had our first case reported. It was a Ugandan who had gone to Dubai for trading purposes, and then when they came back, they were tested positive at the airport. So we had been doing some screening for a couple of days before that. As soon as the virus started moving around and spreading, the Ministry of Health set up testing at the airport and at the border points. So this was the first case that was recorded from this testing. So that person was quarantined, and the airport was closed down the following day on normal passenger flights. Most passenger flights were cancelled on the cargo planes. So that passenger was quarantined. Even before that, they'd been advising people who were traveling to the country to self-quarantine, but then it became a bit more, they stepped it up. So they started tracing people who had been in different flights and reaching out to them and testing them. Pretty much, I think a few days later, on April 1st, is when the president announced that we're going to have a lockdown. So it was phased. First they stopped public transportation, and then they stopped private transportation, and then they eventually added curfew. So April 1st is when we started the kind of full partial lockdown. So you would walk around, but you couldn't drive around, you couldn't go to work unless you were an essential worker, and that was for 14 days. So for 14 days we were indoors. Then on April 14th, when that ended, the president announced another 21-day extension, just to kind of allow the flattening of the curve before we could open up, and just to make sure that there were no community cases spreading around. Now in that period, the cases stopped being from passengers who had come from out and had been tested, and now it started increasingly being more of truck drivers coming from Tanzania and coming from Kenya who were now having the virus. So when that started happening, the Ministry of Health started tracking down the people they'd been in touch with, and eventually they also launched an exercise to do randomized community testing to see if it was in the community, away from people who had come from outside. So I think last week they discovered some cases in Masindi, some policemen in Masindi who had the case, and they quarantined the entire barracks. So we now have community spread, and as of today we have our lockdown has been extended for another 14 days, but with a bit more flexibility. A couple of people have been allowed to go out and work. So that's currently our status quo. And in terms of how businesses have reacted to this, of course, once they had locked down, then most people are not unable to go to work. So people have had to work from home, those who can and who can afford to buy the internet bundles. Schools shut down. A couple of businesses have had to completely close off because they interface with their clients. So when you think business in the hospitality industry and the travel industry, events and gatherings, churches, all those have kind of had to just kind of shut down because there's no way they can work from home if there's no physical contact, physical gathering. So we also had a lot of businesses coming forward and donating money to government to help in the fight against corona. So businesses have really come through with money and also in-kind donations. That's if I can give water, I give water just to kind of help the staff, the frontline workers, Ministry of Health, the doctors and whatnot, and also to help communities that are a bit vulnerable and are not able to kind of survive through the lockdowns now that their daily income has been removed. So that's how businesses came through for government. And then also, but sooner, I think when the first extension of the lockdown was announced, then we had cases of businesses now sending out notices to their employees saying, we will be unable to meet your payroll beyond April, or we might have to reduce your salary. So that's becoming common. And there was a bit of irony because some of the businesses that are doing this were donating money to the government for COVID. So it was a bit weird to see them donating significant amounts and then now telling staff that they can't afford to pay them. So that kind of opened up discussions on wages and the value of employees and minimum wage, all these discussions about the nature of work and all of these things and job security. So that's been a very, very active discussion on social media, thanks to these developments. But then also, those who are able to work from home are now facing the challenge of our very crappy internet. I think the telecoms are overwhelmed. So right now, a lot of people have that complaint of crappy internet, and working from home is becoming a challenge. So yeah, I think furthermore, because everyone is holding cash, and even the businesses that are still open, the ones that are considered essential, have seen a reduction in revenue because people are holding onto money and they're not spending. Also, they can't move out and support these businesses. So there is that as well. I think on the plus side, I think it's creating this shift in consumerism, where instead of going to the malls and to the big supermarkets, people are now becoming more familiar with their neighborhood shops and things like that. But also, I think we will be seeing an increase in businesses trying to get online and trying to survive online. On whether I have what I think will be going down after this, what this is going to mean for businesses and entrepreneurs on the continent after we're done with COVID, whenever that is, because as of right now, I think that's looking very uncertain. So I don't see us having an improvement. I don't think the future is bright in the short term, maybe in the long term when we're adjusting, because what this is doing is that as we stay home longer, people are thinking about ways of reducing costs, obviously because also of reduced revenue. And so what this will mean is that most people who are losing their jobs may not exactly get those jobs back because the bosses will trying to be cutting costs when they reopen. So that there will be that uncertainty for some time, and I hope government has some kind of plan to address that. Then there has been a lot of talk about manufacturing a lot of the products that we can from within the country, because now the export and all that they're being globally affected. So the reskilling of workers to make them work in factories and all that will also take time, also considering that these industries have to start from scratch, and then there's the ability to set up factories and all that is going to be affected by social distancing again. So as long as we are social distancing and we don't have a vaccine, business is going to be very tricky because moving around or interacting will be limited. So sectors like tourism, events are going to be taking a hit for a very long time, and even pivoting is going to be tricky for them because they rely on people moving around and being in close proximity in the venues. So yeah, travel is definitely affected, and yeah. I think the ones that will benefit most are those who are able to go online and see if they can engage in e-commerce and sell their products online and use the different delivery methods that have popped up during this time. So people who are innovating online are going to have an advantage because this is pretty much accelerating the idea of the fourth industrial revolution. And hopefully the internet service providers can also up their capacity and reduce the prices of internet so that more of us can go online. So yeah, that's my analysis of Uganda's situation. Thank you.
And that was it for the information about the business world and the business in the continent and in Sudan. أنا كإنسان خلاص بديت يعني أبدأ أشتغل من البيت وكده، فحبيت أعرف شوية عن المعلومات عن الحاصل ما بس في القارة بس في السودان كمان. وبعدين الفكرة بتاعت إنك تبدأ شغل براكة دي حاجة ممتعة شديد، فإذا أنتوا حابين تبدوا take advantage of the now. Take advantage of the now, start up your business, be active as much as possible. حاولوا تعملوا حاجات وتنجزوا حاجات ليكم انتوا. Try to make your own business name, try to make your own brand, because now everybody is sitting at home. فعندك مجال كبير ومجال واسع انك تشتغل وتدي خدمات للناس. be creative, think outside the box, and don't forget to stay home, wash your hands, and stay safe, ladies and gentlemen. And اتعقموا يا جماعة، تعقموا الحالات في السودان هنا زادت. So we're not going to talk about that. But الحالات زايدة وانتوا عارفين ان الحالات زايدة. So stay safe and look after yourselves. Bye.